everybody. Welcome to our reaction to night 2 of Wrestlemania. As always, I am the female Jimmy. Corey's going straight for the jugular from the beginning. Always with us is the wonderful, beautiful, talented, and amazing Deaf Chef. And then there's Kim Sparkles.
Who's also amazing. And
right. She's sporting her Rhea Ripley look tonight. I'm already
last night it was Paige, and this night it's Rhea Ripley, sort of.
I'm already more entertained by Kim than I was if anything Rhea Ripley did tonight.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that later. Good start to the night. Hogan and Titus came out in pirate gear. Okay. Then we had Orton and The Fiend. And before we get into it, let me just say, I say this every time. Randy Orton takes so long to get to the ring. Yes, you could have an entire match. How long it takes Randy Orton
Listen,
to get...
that was the best part of that match, was watching Randy Orton come out and do his little thing on the turnpike, or what do you
on the catwalk.
Yeah.
My wife goes, man, Orton looks fat. I guess he's not as ripped as she thought he has been.
Well, yeah. Everybody's getting older. They're getting dad bods. It is what it is. But
well, let's talk about it. Corey. Yeah.
I thought he had you could see some emotion. Like he was genuinely almost like he was going to tear up because of there being fans.
Oh yeah.
But that was probably the best part, was like him coming out and like having to take a pause and really take in the fact that, wow, there's people here. Oh my gosh. Other than that, I hated the match. I'm sorry. I thought it was garbage. I was not into much of tonight at all. I'm just going to throw it out there already like that.
All right. Can I give my opinion now?
Yes.
So this was the match that I was really kind of looking forward to. And I thought that it was jank. Like, that's my word. Because from the very beginning, it was like, I didn't know how they were going to do this match. I didn't know how they were going to make the Fiend not burnt and, that whole character. But him walking down the lighted hallway he was coming down and transforming into the Fiend, the old Fiend, that was jank. I was so, I said that out loud when I was watching it. I was like, no, this is not the way that I wanted this to happen. And then the Jack in the Box and that whole thing. And then I was wondering about how Alexa Bliss was going to be involved in this match. I was like, okay, she's turning the little wind up thing on the Jack in the Box. And then she left. I was like, okay, good. She's not going to be involved in this match. And then lo and behold, there she is on top of the Jack in the Box with black stuff coming down her.
The Rudy Giuliani effect.
What is this? What is this? I was so disappointed, and the fans were pissed. People were booing because then, it cost the Fiend the match because she distracted him. I can only imagine that from here on out, she's going to be in control of the Fiend. And the only reason why is because she's the best thing about the whole storyline. And her acting is the only thing that's keeping it going. So I was just so very disappointed by this. I can't wait to hear what other people have to say about this match. And if the Fiend is really going to even have any fans going forward. I was happy that Randy Orton won, but other than that, I was like, no.
I at least it was short.
Yes.
It was so short. I mean, to kick off a show and having that much theatrics, it was
a 5-minute match.
Yeah, it was bad. Which brings me to the next match. And one of the first things I said about the Baszler Jax and Natalya Tamina match was, how does this match get more time than Orton and Wyatt? Like, and it wasn't bad. Like, this was Tamina. This might be the best match I've ever seen Tamina be in, ever. Like, I can't remember any other time going, wow, Tamina, that was pretty good. Like, I can't ever imagine any other time with that. You know what I mean? I think Baszler looked really good. You know, they did a little sunset flip into a super kick when Natalya flipped up Baszler into that super kick was cool. It was way better than I thought. The ending was the ending, the double submission. You know, that was cool. But I mean, you got to admit, it was better than I thought. It was better than the first match.
Yeah. I didn't watch the whole thing.
I mean, name another time when you come out of a match going, hey, Tamina looked pretty good. Like, I don't remember
I feel like they keep resurrecting Tamina from the dead, to be honest. Like, she, you know, she goes away. They decide to bring her back. She was with Nia Jax for a long time. Then we didn't really see much of her. And then now she's on this with Natalya, like at WrestleMania, which was really surprising to me. And I mean, I just don't know how many times. I mean, I don't know why. Like, she belongs with Natalya because she's kind of like Natalya at this point, where Natalya goes away, comes back, goes away, comes back, like same story.
Do they deserve that spot over like Naomi and Lana? Like, they're way more hotter than, not hot like looks wise. Well, but I'm just saying, like,
people into them right now for sure.
Yeah. You know, it's just they always seem to make the wrong decision, and it was better than I thought. Which brings
I think tonight was completely the wrong decision.
Right.
The whole night was pretty much the wrong decision. There, like, I'm just gonna keep throwing it out there like that. It was all garbage until the last match.
You know what the worst part about it is? Last night we were all hyped up about the Bad Bunny thing, and then we got an answer tonight that Bad Bunny's not even going to come back. He had his.
And I told you Triple H was involved somehow.
With Triple H, and Triple H is like, "Hey, thanks. You had a great match. Now go do what you're going to do." And he rides off into the sunset with his tour schedule. So Bad Bunny's not even coming back.
Well, you got now. I
by that.
You have to admit, though, those headlines were accurate. He sets an impossibly high bar for any other celebrity to ever come in and do a match. I mean, it's so high now. And I watched it again today, and I don't know if it was that it was so good or that everyone was just so surprised. You know,
both.
Yeah, you know,
we're both. Still talking about it the next day over the shit we just watched. What's that tell you?
Okay. So let's move on to what I say is the best match of the night, which was Sami and KO. And I will say this, that Sami Zayn outshined KO tonight. Like, Sami Zayn, like, people forget because he's so crazy, he can actually wrestle.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? We forget, like, you know, Sami, you know, Kevin splashing him and then running back again to do it again, and Sami follows him into that haluva kick. You know, Logan Paul didn't be there. It was a cash grab for him. It was a cash grab for the WWE. But really, man, Sami Zayn outshined everybody tonight, in my opinion. Like, him and Daniel Bryan were the best that I saw tonight. Corey, do you have any thoughts on this match at all?
Yeah, I was watching pretty intently. I think Sami, man, God, what are they doing to him? Like, this whole crazy leader of the Communist Party thing he's got going on. I don't get it, but it's working. People are into it. Would I have liked to seen him actually win tonight? Yes, I think that, but then what would that have done to this whole crazy conspiracy theory thing he's got going on?
Right. And eventually,
I think he is a great wrestler. Like, straight up, the matches those two have done over the years have always been awesome. And tonight was no different. It was good. Like, he did moves you haven't seen in forever, pulling off blue thunder bombs and stuff. I'm like, yes, there's old Sammy right there finally. And then this whole Logan Paul thing, I was just happy when he hit him with a stunner. I was yelling from the other room. I'm like, stun him, and he did it. So
yeah, Kim.
Well, we've been a fan of Sami Zayn for a while, and I don't think we've ever told you this, but our dog, our little baby dog, is named after Sami Zayn and Jericho. So his
and
name,
Hamilton the musical, all in
his
one.
name is Hammy Zayn Bon Jericho. That's
nice.
His full name, Hammy Zayn Bon Jericho.
Hammy Zayn Bon Jericho.
So we have had we've been fans of Sami Zayn from the start, and his character is a little weird. I figured that it would be a great match just because, like we talked about, he and Kevin Owens are friends, and they've worked together a lot, and you can tell they put on a good match. And I'm disappointed that this was the best match of the night, but I think you're right.
Kim's really bitter about this whole night.
It was pretty good. I am bitter.
It was a cheap ending. KO got the victory. He should have, I mean, this feud, it's got to be done. There's really nothing else they could do. It was kind of like last minute thrown together anyway.
I think Vince can drag this on for at least another month. Why? I don't know, but I think he can drag it on for another month. Just getting more crazy with it.
Sami Zayn did great tonight. You sat there and I go, you forget he can actually wrestle. Like, it gets lost in the stupidity of the character, but you forget, like Corey said, like, he can wrestle, and you forget. I'll talk about the next one to start. I think it's weird to wrestle barefooted. I don't know how Matt Riddle does it. Rusev did it for years, but I just think it's gotta hurt. They did a belly to belly off the top rope, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Sheamus, no matter what, Sheamus is always solid. He's a good worker. Riddle did decent. It's two different styles. It was an okay match. My biggest complaint was, why does Sheamus need the U.S. title? Like, why does he need it?
Good question.
If you're trying to build a new star, why do you take the belt off him at WrestleMania and give it to someone who doesn't need it at all? Like, Sheamus doesn't need a title. He doesn't need.
Right.
He definitely doesn't need the U.S. title, which is like the third level title. Like, why? It's the one step above the 24/7. Like, why does Matt Riddle need the title? Anyway, Corey, Kim, either one of you.
With Sheamus, there was all these rumors a couple years back that maybe he was going to retire because he was injured and this and that, and I don't know. This one, you're right, it just doesn't make any sense at all. Like, I've been trying to wrap my head around this one for a while. Like, just because people think Riddle's character is so dumb, maybe that's why he needed to take a beating from the brawler. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
I did like the how it ended with that kick, the bro kick off the flip. You know what I mean? Just out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was a good match. Like, they put on a good match.
They had a pretty significant botch in this match, though. I pointed out when this match was like, when he got up,
he was supposed to go off the top rope
and like fell down basically. Middle. Like, that was not good, and it was obviously a botch. I agree that I don't know why Sheamus has got this title now. It doesn't make sense. But the thing that bothers me most about this is that now when Riddle comes out and tosses off his flip-flops, birds come flying out with the graphics, and this started like 3 weeks ago, and I have no idea why.
Oh, I thought I had no clue why they were doing that. That's been going on because I was like,
yes,
why are birds?
Yeah, it's been going on for like the past 3 weeks. And when it started, I was like, what is this? Like, it is so random. And
that's what I thought tonight.
And then when they did it tonight, like it interrupts his pyro, which is like one of the best parts of Riddle's whole entrance is when he kicks off the flip-flops and the pyro goes. Well, today we had to wait for the birds to come out and the pyro went off. And I was like, what is happening?
I want to be in the meeting when someone said, well, let's have doves fly out of his feet.
Why?
Because he's flying high, man. I have no idea, dude.
If it were cartoon birds flying around his head, like in a movie, like cuckoo, like after he got kicked in the head, that would have been good. That'd have been funny. Like some Roger Rabbit shit.
Can we drop back to the fact that Booker T is running for mayor, like legit running for mayor of Houston?
Really? I didn't hear that part.
They announced it in the pre-show, and I Googled it. He's legit running for mayor, the actual mayor of the third largest city.
Well, Kane is a mayor. Why can't Booker T be a mayor?
Who is? Kane. Yeah. Well, a small village of 12,000 people is a little different than Houston, Texas. It has more people than the entire state of Missouri.
What about Jesse the Body Ventura? He was what?
Well, I mean, look who the president
governor.
used to be.
He's the governor.
Look who the president used to be.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, anything's possible.
At this point, why not the WWE Hall of Fame? Everyone just becomes politics, political figure. Okay, let's go on to probably the best match in the history of WrestleMania, and that is the Nigerian drum fight.
Oh, God.
This will go down in history as the best match of all time. Hogan Andre, nothing. Bret Austin, nothing. It will be the Nigerian drum fight forever.
This is so stupid.
I'm going to use the word jank on this match because in my mind, when I was thinking of all the possibilities were how they could make this Nigerian drum match a good match, and you
didn't do any of it.
You need to quit yawning while I'm talking, Jimmy. This is like the second time.
That is not because of you, dear. It is because it is butt late.
So anyway, I was thinking in my mind all of the ways that this Nigerian drum match could have been cool. And they could have had like a bunch of guys come out playing the drums and like
that's what I thought.
And that would have been something. And then when they panned around and showed all the instruments on the table, it was like that whatever music match that Elias had a while back.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, no, like this is what it is. They have a couple drums on a table and then Corey Graves had to point out that like the percussion instruments is not what makes this a Nigerian drum match. And I was like, just him saying that like just goes to prove how dumb this was.
Dude, I love little ticked off Kim Sparkles. Like I love. Okay, let's not trash everything. Big E coming out, that emotion he had on his face, being solo, it was pretty cool. He's getting to go on his own. That was interesting. He did a spear through the ropes and knocked Apollo onto the ground.
Yeah, that was
pretty impressive.
That was.
I liked the old school ending of it, of a surprise, and Apollo has a henchman. It is, you got to realize that Apollo used to do this character on the indies. This is what he did. He was Yuha Nation. And, he did this he did this kind of character, not to this extreme, like we're blatantly ripping off Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he is from Nigerian, and the guy who showed up's from Poland, which makes no sense. But like his bio literally showed up on the WWE roster for Raw during this match. Because I went to Twitter as soon as it happened, and they're all like, his bio just showed up 22 minutes ago. You know what I mean? Like yes, it was a dumb match, but I like Big E getting to go on his own. He deserved better. Let's see what Apollo does with it. The guy's a freak of nature. He's an athlete.
Yeah, and Apollo's good, but I think they're just.
I mean, the other bad part about this match was that in the beginning, like before on the pre-show, they had Booker T trying to explain to Sonya Deville what the history of the drum match was, and that was horrible too.
It was bad. It was so bad.
It almost came across like
someone was telling him he had to say something.
Yeah, almost like it made her sound like she was dumb and racist. You know what I mean? Like, and stuff.
I kind of got that too.
Hey, Asuka and Rhea Ripley had a match.
They did. I wasn't really into it.
I love Asuka. She is probably my favorite female wrestler behind Molly Holly of all time. This match was
not so good.
And you knew from the start, based on the entrances of this giant spectacle that Rhea got, and then Asuka got basically walking down like her normal self, that, man, it was so bad.
It was, I mean, there were moves that were just completely off that you could see, like, weren't even making contact, which is unfortunate because I like both of these ladies a lot. And this was supposed to be a big deal. I mean, I think everybody knew that Rhea Ripley was going to win the match, but it still could have been a great match. And it wasn't. So it was disappointing.
I think, Corey, tell me if you disagree with this statement. No. I actually think it was the worst match of the entire weekend.
Ooh.
There was parts of Braun and Shane that were more enjoyable than this match. And that pains me to say.
There was just pieces of the ring that they were able to grab that just happened to be weapons. That shit was funny in the Braun match. But yeah, I think these two seem like they just haven't worked together enough. Like they didn't know how to communicate. Maybe it's the language barrier. Maybe other people have learned how to call matches in Japanese with her or something. I don't know. Like it just seems like they didn't communicate well and work well together, even though they're both great in their own mind. Like you're right. Exactly. Just
to say the words, Asuka was in the worst match of the weekend is mind-blowing to me.
Right. She's awesome. She really is. Yeah. And from what I've seen of Rhea, which hasn't been a whole lot, but you don't get called up to the main roster if you suck. You know what I mean? Like you don't get to debut on Raw if you suck. You don't get that opportunities unless you've earned it by kicking some butt and being really good at what you do. So for her to come up and then have all this hype and then just put on a stinker sucks, you know. I feel overall, sorry for them. Like, yeah.
They had a match.
Yeah. And no, I mean, I just feel like I feel disappointed for them that that's what it turned out to be. I'm hoping for good things from Rhea Ripley going forward, but yeah, just disappointed.
Now I'm yawning. Sorry. Thinking about that yawner of a match.
You guys are really making me feel great tonight.
Anyway, hey, we both think you're beautiful. We both think you're beautiful. So there. Anyway,
thank you.
So the main event, main event was good. This was a good match. I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn might have stole the show a little. This was good. I don't like Jey Uso's character. I think he's like a yapping puppy dog, just always, But I will say this: I've said this before that no one does a super kick better than a Uso. I mean, just the beginning of that, just
maybe a young buck with a little super kick party.
Maybe James Ellsworth.
Oh my gosh! Oh, there's a name I thought I'd never hear again.
Wow. It's a good.
No podcast. No chin music.
Yeah, I tell you, yeah. It's a good night whenever James Ellsworth make it. I thought the best thing about this match was all three of these people are WrestleMania main eventers, and they know how to perform on this stage multiple times. So you knew going into it, like it was going to be very professionally done. There were going to be no botches. No one was going to miss spots. I thought that was the best thing about this, was seeing three very, very good, like professional wrestlers. Just they were professional. Kim, what did you think of the match as a whole? I got more thoughts, but let's start with you, and we will not yawn. We'll be like this.
I thought that it was okay. I what I really took away from this was Edge seemed really ticked off. Like I believed that he was upset and pissed off. I mean, there was a time where they were showing his face up close, and I mean, just that emotion that he was able to capture made me feel like, wow, I felt like he was going to win because he was so upset and mad and everything. I felt like he had more emotion than the other two guys. And I know this isn't about emotion, but in a way it kind of is, because it's the passion of who wanted it the most. I, you know, it was a spear against spear match, which, I like Roman Reigns, but I feel like they're doing kind of a disservice to Roman Reigns, and they have been for a long time, where almost every time he goes to spear someone, it has some kind of counter maneuver, and he doesn't really get to spear anyone. He did get to spear Edge, and then Edge, of course, was spearing him back. But
I feel that. I agree. I feel like that about Daniel Bryan's yes kicks. Like you always get to that last one, and he's going to miss.
Yeah.
It's like it's no Daniel Bryan.
So I feel like that.
Daniel Bryan looked to be in phenomenal shape. Like he might be the Tom Brady. Like he didn't look winded at all. And I guess after you wrestle for an hour and 30 minutes in Saudi Arabian heat, I don't think anything ever will bother you again after what he did at that Super Royal Rumble. And I think the Royal Rumble match was great, but even I was like, 50 people, this is ridiculous. Corey, thoughts on the match overall? Reigns had good heat. I thought he did, like legit boos.
Yeah, I thought they were legit boos. There was a little, you could see some people getting their pictures of him with their phones as he was coming in the ramp, but that they do that to everybody. But yeah, I think he legitimately was getting booed, and the fans played along. We didn't think they were gonna. We all kind of had a inkling that maybe he'd get cheered a little bit, it would mess things up. But no, I think everybody's has learned. We gotta do it the right way. We gotta boo the heels, cheer the faces, and go like this for the tweeners.
But a lot of the people who lead that type of opposite cheering are international people, and they can't get in the country. You know what I mean? Like that's the way it is. I liked the little, I don't know, I doubt they were paying homage to him, but a little Chris Benoit in there. Daniel Bryan did two headbutts from the top rope. Edge put him in the crossface crippler. They called it the crossface crippler.
They did.
Which I thought was shocking, because that, I doubt that.
I thought he'd never be mentioned again. Like he's been removed from so much stuff.
I kind of liked the little like comic relief moment where they Edge was going to try to get Roman Reigns to submit, and then Daniel Bryan came in and kept him from submitting. And
that little double submit.
Both holding on to him, and they were looking at each other like,
you let go. No, you let go.
Each other, and I was like,
that was funny.
For a minute, I was like, oh no. But it just lasted long enough to be like, okay, this is going to be, maybe it's going to end up with the two of them. And then of course it didn't, but.
Well, I thought having it be a shorter night, the crowd still had a lot of energy. I think if we would have sat through a 6-hour show of all these matches, they would be so dead for this match. I don't think it was planned. I would like to believe this in my world. It was not planned for the chair leg to break off, and then Edge just saw it and used it. And if in my mind, I like to think that was improvised. And if it is, that shows why he's a Hall of Famer. Right. Just right there. Just seeing that and being able to implement that the way he did was great. I loved when the crowd was yelling Roman sucks, and he was just totally taunting them. And then Edge speared him off the steps. Like, I thought that was really cool.
And he seemed like it really hurt because he was on the floor like, like he was selling that. He was selling that spear. He either got it right in the solar plexus or he sold the spear good. Yeah.
Well, the faces he was making when the chair leg was in his mouth were like hilarious. Classic. His
like
eyes
Vince
were
McMahon level of faces.
What?
Vince McMahon had the best facial expressions ever.
Yeah.
And so that was, I actually thought for a second that Edge was going to win there. And I actually liked the whole pull the ref out. Like, that's a classic move. I thought that was going to happen. I actually seriously forgot about Jey Uso. Like, he was gone so long.
Right.
I actually thought he had been moved to the back or something. And so pinning them both at the end was unique. If you think about it though, like, they need to be all in with Roman. Like, if this is eventually going to lead to, him against The Rock or whatever you want it to be, right? It needs to go a whole year. Like, he needs to hold the title a long time and make it be worth something. But they probably won't. He'll lose it tomorrow night in Raw. So.
Well, I thought it was a nice touch that he did put both of them on top of each other and then did the pin, because that like kind of solidified, like, I'm the man, I'm on top of these other two guys. So I did like the ending.
Yeah, I'm so good. Like, I pinned both of them. Corey, thoughts on the whole match? Main event, did it at least end good for you?
Yeah, no, I think it was pretty good. Like, we were texting each other a little bit during the match, and anytime I see little Nate come out as the ref, I honestly think he's the only one that has any idea who's going to win. I don't think any of them knew who was going over until he told them. I think the refs have always been more involved than people realize. And in big matches where Vince wants it to seem real as all get out, I think he's got refs that he puts in that he's earbudding to. All right, tell this guy to go over, and they don't have a clue. And I've always thought that he was that guy. I don't know. It's just been like a conspiracy theory of wrestling of mine for a few years. I bring it up. Kim's heard me talk about it before, that when I see him, I think, okay, nobody knows who's going to win this except this guy right here.
Well, maybe like Edge thought he was going to win there at the end. And, Daniel's the only one that knew he was going to pull him out of the ring. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why Edge's reaction, like Kim said, was so real.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
maybe
he thought he was going to win, and then he said Roman put them both, or maybe they have
a little piece of it, but nobody really knows what's going to happen except the ref.
And it's like they have like 3 different endings set out, and then he says, let's go with ending number 3, which was Roman, pinning both of them. So just to wrap things up, I liked that it's 2 nights. I loved it. I thought it was really cool. I hope they keep it. I think it's enjoyable to have 2 nights. It's like a full weekend, and each night you're not as tired. The second night disappointed big time. Or maybe everyone in the first night just killed it. You know what I mean? Besides Shane and Braun, you're just like, there wasn't anything. You're just like, oh, but tonight it was like numerous things were just like. But I hope Kim someday will wake up and love Apollo Crews. So
I will love what?
You'll wake up and love Apollo Crews.
It's not that I don't like him. It's just I just think that match could have been better.
It could have, and it didn't need to be. It just
stupid gimmick match. There we go. A stupid.
The saddest thing about like tonight is there's and then if you take the whole weekend, the only match that's going to go down like in WrestleMania history,
Bad Bunny,
is the Bad Bunny match, and no one saw that coming. That's going to be the only one that we're going to look back at this WrestleMania and go, well, that was the match of the weekend. Like, that was phenomenal. You know, that's sad when you think how many people were involved in these matches, and everyone's going to remember. It's like WrestleMania 17. It's almost like no one remembers the main event of WrestleMania 17, even though it was Rock Austin. They remembered the gimmick Royal Rumble. You know, they brought all these bad gimmicks out, the Battle Royal, whatever. Anyway,
was that where Kofi walked on his hands?
No, that was different. Yeah.
Okay.
Corey, any thoughts? Wrap up. Final thoughts.
I think if it was going to be one night, it would have been a few matches from the first night and one match from the second night. It would have been good. That's it.
Well, it really would have been bad.
We could have taken Sammy and KO. We took the main event, and that would have been all from the first night.
Right. Exactly.
It really would have been bad if they would have done everything in order the way that they did, like the beginning be the first night and then everything else be the ending, you know, the second night, because everybody would have really probably been disappointed, you know, had everything been great in the beginning and then jank for the second part.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. This will go down as the weekend of jankness, right?
Jankelmania.
Jankelmania. Oh,
or WrestleJankia. There you go.
And all we'll remember from the weekend is WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Or whatever he said.
WrestleMania. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
We do. We don't. We do. We don't. We do. We don't. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Keep paying attention, and let's stop recording.
We'll see you next week.
Subscribe.
Oh yeah, subscribe.
Like and subscribe. That's right. All right.
We'll be back with more episodes later this week.
That's how tired I am.
Good night.
Good night, folks.
Good night.